This is all far from over. And even with today's big gains on Wall Street, the markets are still down. The Dow is down by nearly 5,000 points from its high in December. And there are still big questions about what all this means for Main Street USA, all of you out there, what it means for you in grocery stores and car dealerships. All right, so let's discuss all of this now with our political panel. Bill de Blasio is the former Democratic mayor of New York City, and Chris Sununu is the former Republican governor of New Hampshire. Great to have both of you here for our bipartisan discussion. Governor, I'll start with you. Days after Trump posted in all caps, "My policies will never change," and vowed not to pause the tariffs, today he paused the tariffs and admitted he changed course because people were, quote, getting a little afraid. The chief economist for KPMG said, quote, "This is nuts. Uncertainty is its own tax on the economy." What do you say?
Well, no, this is Trump's art of the deal, right? He mixes strength with uncertainty. He's always done it. And he's really brought it to the table. I think it happened a lot faster than I would have normally guessed. And what he's really done is told everybody in the world, hey, everything's to be negotiated. You know, you work with us. We're here to work with you. We're not here to fight everybody, but we are here to fight those who want to fight back. And that's China. And it's really put China in a hugely disadvantaged position, because what he's going to do, he's going to negotiate with Vietnam and India, Japan, some of those countries in the Asian Peninsula that China's been using. Mexico will be in that. Basically, as he negotiates with every country, China will come up as part of everyone else's negotiation, and they will be last to the table and put into even a tougher position, which they deserve to be, because they've abused our tariff system and our trade system for so long. So right now it's playing exactly, I think, as a lot of economists, hence the stock market, would like to see. They've got to close these deals, though. He's got to come through and use these 90 days. If he doesn't do that, then we're right back where we started.
Right. That's exactly what everybody's worried about. Mayor, what do you make of it all? Is he crazy or crazy like a fox?
Look, he's created chaos, and chaos is not good for the economy. It's not good for working people. It's not good for small businesses. It's certainly not good for the standing of the United States of America in the world. Look, what we've seen these last days, the stock market way down, as you said, overall. I've talked to business people who are...
And a nice big bounce back today.
Yeah, but still, as you said, overall way down. Consumer confidence down. I've talked to business people who are beside themselves. They don't know what to believe anymore. So one of the strengths of this country has been we are a reliable place with reliable policies. That's now shot to hell, honestly speaking. And in the end, a lot of damage has been done. A lot of people have been hurt in this process. Jobs have already been lost. And I think you're going to see a lot more, because what the governor left us with there, I'm deep respect for the governor, but if the deals get done, we just heard the President of the United States say, I like steel, ironclad, I'm not moving, and a day later he moves. Who's going to believe him from this point on this topic when it's clear there's no North Star here? He might change at any given point.
Governor, to the mayor's point, you know, we heard even from, about business chaos and their inability to plan because they don't know what the future holds. For example, Delta Airlines just announced today that it was canceling an order for a bunch of new airplane seats, which we would all probably enjoy on our next flight on Delta. They're not going to do that. That's just one of many businesses that are putting on pause any sort of reinvestment or expenditure.
Sure. So, look, what you're going to have is a couple things. I still think there's going to be an economic slowdown. Folks, we haven't had an economic slowdown or recession in over 15 years. So that's the longest in American history. So it's just natural to assume some things are going to slow down a little bit. So at the same time, while he brings regulations down, he frees energy. That brings prices down and those inflationary pressures down. A lot of international investment landing here. He announced the $20 billion. Actually, it was closer to $50 billion in LNG and energy investments just in Louisiana in the Gulf of America area there. So folks are money's coming in, regulations are coming down, energy's coming down. 90 days to negotiate better deals with everyone from Canada to Italy. Putting China, a lot of pressure on China. That's a lot happening very quickly, 90 days, but the market's going to find some stability. Now, again, we just keep going back. They've got 90 days to close these deals. They've got 90 days to reinstill a long-term confidence. But believe me, we're not going to shoot like this again for quite a while. We're going to find some stability. And for this market right now, given where we are and what was anticipated in coming with the recession, that'll be a win.
Respectfully, I don't know where you get the idea of there's going to be stability when we've seen no stability since January 20 on any topic. Also, they're about to pass in the Congress the massive Trump tax cut for billionaires and millionaires, which is going to blow a hole in our overall deficit situation. The problem here is we have this constant change of approach. But one thing is for certain, everyday working people are hurting right now, and each of these moves only make it worse. And who's done very well in all this? Once again, the wealthiest folks are going to benefit from these big tax cuts. When you think about the totality of this, look at the polling that came out today. 73% of Americans believe prices are about to go up. 25% of Republicans think the president has mishandled this tariff situation. That's staggering after so few weeks that so much confidence is being lost.
You know, when the mayor brings up how this is going to affect, we're not a newscast for the billionaire class here. We're a newscast for ordinary Americans. And Governor, you mentioned China. China has now been hit with 125% tariffs. This is going to have a huge impact on what Americans buy. Get this, 73% of all smartphones are made in China. 78% of all laptops are made in China. 87% of video game consoles made in China. 77% of toys made in China. That's I'm not even
Not
getting...
for long.
Well,
not for long, right?
Governor,
I mean, that's the whole point. Let's bring the chips here. Let's bring the manufacturing here. That's a good thing.
That does not happen overnight. That does not happen in a year.
No.
That takes a long time to happen.
It can definitely take a couple of years. There's no question about it. And that's why Trump is playing a long game. He's not just overly panicking in 1 week or one moment on the market. He's playing a long game. And what tariffs really do, if anything, they're going to really squeeze corporate profits. And I know the left wing doesn't like anybody making money. They don't like the capitalism. But by the tariffs, if anything, are going to hurt corporate profits. So by doing the tax breaks at the same time, it tells those corporations, the deltas of the world, no, invest the cash. Invest in your workers. Invest in your infrastructure. Invest in the things that are going to make you grow that American base, whether it's in steel or aluminum.
I'm talking about the viewer sitting home, whose cell phone, who needs a new cell phone. Apple is not going to move those factories from China here. They will eat that cost. I mean, the price of an iPhone, a smartphone right now, is like $1,300. It would climb to $2,100 with these tariffs in place. It would climb
No, but they'll move it to Vietnam.
Right, but then...
They'll move it to India. They'll move it to Vietnam. They'll move it to partners that have a better relationship with us. And so they're not getting absolutely abused. China has to understand they are not the world economy. There's a lot of countries out there, whether it's here at home or other countries, that will do fair trade with us, that we will partner with and still provide that opportunity. Not everything has to be made here, but everything has to be made in the world that is fair to America.
Okay.
And that's ultimately what we're getting here. And that's why China's in such a bad position today, because everyone else is going to work with us but them.
They are definitely in a bad position today. Mr. Mayor, I want to ask you about something else with China. The vast majority of generic drugs, antibiotics that we all use, cancer drugs, are all made in China. And we heard President Trump today say he was going to impose a 25% tariff on pharmaceuticals. What is going to happen to the cost of the generic ibuprofen that everybody buys, or the amoxicillin or the ciprofloxacin that we all rely upon? This is, if anything is a national security issue, I think it's this.
Amen.
That so much of our medication is made in China or India, and it's not made here in the United States.
You know, when I was running New York City during COVID, and this is exactly what we learned. Our dependency on the rest of the world, particularly China, for medication, for surgical supplies, for all these basic things we needed. We do need to break out of that. But this is not the way to do it. With massive tariffs, they're just going to drive up costs for consumers and create massive uncertainty for businesses. I heard what the governor said about, they'll try and give them tax cuts too. The businesses, more than tax cuts, they want certainty, they want stability. And now what Donald Trump has told them is, you don't know what's going to happen day to day. And so we're really dealing with chaos. And I think what's happening is the American consumer is more and more worried. They're paying attention. They're like, we don't know where anything's going, except for one thing. It's going to cost us, and particularly on things they need most, like those medicines.
All right. Mayor Bill de Blasio.
Bill, if I may,
go ahead.
Bill,
all right, real quick. Yep. Go ahead.
No, Bill, but Bill brings those are really good points that the mayor brings up. But wouldn't you agree that bringing some of those pharmaceuticals back to America is better for our security? I mean, it could be costly in the short term, to be sure, but don't we want that here of all things?
But how long will that
China
take?
isn't very good at doing biologics.
Quick bipartisan moment once again. I have a lot of respect for the governor. Yes, we do, but this is not the way to do it. To create chaos and drive up costs on people who have been hurting from all the inflation. Let's see an actual plan to bring that production back. That's something we could all agree on.
All right. With that note of bipartisan agreement, let's stop there. Thanks so much for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.